Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Oldsmar City Council meeting of Tuesday, April 18th, 2017 to order. If you'll please rise for our invocation, who will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask, and our pledge will be led by Troop 407 tonight.
Heavenly Father, as the citizens of the City of Oldsmar meet together to address our local concerns and opportunities, we give thanks to you for the bounty that we enjoy in all aspects of our community life. We ask for your inspiration to strive for excellence in our endeavors to serve the public. Grant us peace in our world and harmony between all people to your greater glory. This we pray.
Amen.
We can get Troop 407 to come up front and lead us in the pledge. Welcome. Whenever you're ready.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Sit right there at the microphone.
Right behind you.
I'm Austin Vautier.
Hi, Austin.
I'm Joey Albee.
Hi, Joey.
I'm Noah Dorweiler.
Hi, Noah. Welcome. Thank you guys for coming. All right. I can't make any promises, but a lot of times they tell you that you might see a fight incur up here, so I can't. It's a little early to tell. Sometimes the guy down there on the end gets a little cantankerous, so we got to keep him in line. So keep your eyes on that end of the counter up here. So welcome. We're glad you guys came tonight. Our first item on tonight's agenda is the Citizens Open Forum. It allows you to address the City Council. We only have a couple of rules that you state your name and address clearly for the record. You keep it to no more than 5 minutes, and you can address anything on the agenda, but there is one public item, number 7, and if you wish to address that, we would ask that you hold those comments until such time as we get to that. Having said that, does anybody on this side of the room like to address the City Council? Perfect. Anybody on this side of the room like to address the City Council? Perfect. Anybody in the room like to address the City Council? Really?
I thought he was kidding with you.
Now you know where you stand.
Leave it to the fire chief.
Dean O'Neill, Fire and EMS Chief. Just a couple of quick things. I wanted to give a council an update on the wildfire in Florida. As you know, the governor has signed an executive order about a state of emergency. There are a few burn bans throughout different communities, different counties. Currently, Pinellas County is not under a burn ban, although today we had a meeting with several organizations and that they're still talking about that. I did want to invite everybody in the community on Saturday, May 6th, East Lake Fire, Oldsmar Fire, Florida Forest Service, the Division of Environmental Lands will be hosting a community event at the Burger Creek Education Center to talk to people about what they can do to help protect their houses from wildfire issues. It's going to be Saturday, May 6th from 9 to 11 o'clock. And I wanted to just take a quick second to say thank you to a couple of people. Like my predecessor, it seems like I'm either at a training event or on vacation when serious things happen in town. And we recently had a 3-alarm industrial fire and a large wildfire. And Lieutenant Tom Brennan and Lieutenant Renee Neiman both were acting instant commanders during both of those. And I just wanted to say publicly thank you to the work that they did, keeping everybody safe and protecting property and the citizens we have here in Oldsmar.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Anybody else like to address council? Seeing no one, we'll close the Citizens Open Forum. I'll give you a quick mayor's minute recap, a couple of items, and tell you about some things that are going up. Coming up, condolences to the Orsello family. City's part-time City Hall receptionist, Marie Orsello, passed away just recently. Many will miss her wonderful smile and her willingness to assist anyone, anytime. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family. I talked to her daughter today, and they're doing well, but they really appreciate the thoughts of the city. And that's the great part about the city. When somebody's in need, the city residents definitely reach out to them. We had our first nighttime community coffee with Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, a great turnout for our first evening community coffee. Thanks to Oldsmar Fire Rescue for hosting, plus the Sheriff's Office for their continued partnership in this event. And I wasn't able to make it, so thank you to Vice Mayor Saraki for standing in. I heard it was great. Recap of the Relay for Life, Oldsmar Safety Harbor. I'm not sure, do we know how much money we've raised? Do we know what we did raise, Dan, by chance, roughly?
Like 40,000 now.
$40,000. It's probably one of the best attended events that I've been to in quite some time. So thanks to everybody that came out. The Oldsmar Cup race, great day at Tampa Bay Downs for the annual running of the Oldsmar Cup. Thanks to the Downs for offering free admission to our residents and hosting us in the winner's circle. That was a great time. Upcoming events, the Mayor's Water Challenge is still going on now through April 30th. Take the pledge. Help Oldsmar win. Currently, we're in 12th for cities of our size around the country. mywaterpledge.com. Also, the 18th annual golf tournament, Friday, May 5th, 1 p.m. shotgun start at Landsbrook Golf Club. Get your clubs and enforce them ready for this annual youth program fundraiser. Registration deadline is April 22nd. Show us your Oldsmar photo contest. Now through Friday, April 28th, submit up to 3 high-res photos and show us your Oldsmar cash prizes for first, second, and third, and you do not have to be an Oldsmar resident to participate. Also, disc golf course update. We're looking forward to the opening of the Gold Level Championship disc golf course, 18 holes in Sheffield Park. Promises to be a wonderful new asset to the city of Oldsmar and our commitment to ecotourism for Pinellas County. Having said that, that wraps up the mayor's minute. Next is the consent docket. We have 3 items on there. First is to approve the minutes of the February 21st, 2017 City Council meeting. Approve payment to legal counsel, and third, approve the tentative agenda for May 2nd, 2017. If nobody wishes to pull anything, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second, motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is the City of Oldsmar presentation of Employee Service Awards, and we're going to break this in 2, and City Manager Bruce Haddock will go ahead with the first one.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very happy this evening to present a 10-year service award to Angel Hernandez. What a surprise, right? And some of your family came with you tonight also?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll get them in a picture in a few minutes, probably. Okay. So there's a check that goes along with this. You take that.
All right.
The best part. This service award is in recognition for 10 years of service to the city of Oldsmar, presented to Angel Hernandez, 2007 to 2017. So I'm very happy this evening to offer our congratulations on hitting 1 decade, 10 years, quite a milestone with the city of Oldsmar. It also gives us an opportunity to say thank you, to let you know we appreciate the work that you do. And you've been a firefighter paramedic with the Oldsmar Fire Rescue for 10 years, right?
EMT for 10 years, yes.
EMT. I'm going to have to look a little more closely in the future. But anyway, by the way, I'm not wearing my glasses. I do have some. I should wear them. But, you know, we appreciate your service, and certainly hitting 10 years is a milestone. So tonight we have an opportunity to say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Is this on? Oh, yeah. I'd like to say thank you for the city for giving me the opportunity to serve them. It's been fun and educational.
Well, great. So we can have everybody come up here and get in the picture. That would be good, don't you think?
Yeah, we could try.
Come on, come on.
And Mr. Mayor, I thought they were all here for the
Item
annual
7?
financial report.
Yeah, the audit?
From the auditor.
So did he.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Might have been easier to go out into the audience.
I thought about that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Be sure to go more that way.
You're going to see us.
What is that?
Keep going.
Hey.
sure wish you'd have brought some people to support you.
Coming also.
The depressing part is after we do the awards, the room's going to be empty, I think. The next service award I am going to present. I'll explain a little bit why. Ann Nixon, our city clerk.
Adam's doing the Homer Brunson thing.
Whoops. Doing city clerk, Adam. So come on, unless he's ready to run it.
There we go.
Okay.
He's jumping the.
If Ann Nixon could come down, our city clerk, I'll explain a little bit about why we do this way. All the employees in the city report to our city manager, Mr. Haddock, with the exception of Mr. Haddock, our city attorney, and our city clerk. They report to the city council. So I'm honored to be able to do this. Two things. One, I'm honored to be able to present this to Ann, but also I'm honored to be able to avoid unintended consequences, also known as Chris Tate. So for those of you that know her, I wore a tie tonight because she says I look good on TV with a tie. I wore my name tag that I've never worn.
Actually, you told her not to show up.
And I wasn't sure if she would be here, but I always pay the wrath because she says, don't keep my girls out late. She either tells me that the day of the meeting, or she tells me the next day, I hope I didn't keep her girls out late. So having said that, congratulations, good night. No. This is a real honor for me. I can say personally, and I'm sure I speak for the rest of the city council, that Ann does a great job for not only the city and the employees, but also the city council and keeping us on track. I know personally, I probably require a lot of time of hers, and I really appreciate everything that she's done. She was one of the first things that I got to do was interview Ann as part of the city council. I was a city council member at the time. And that was an interesting process because, you know, it's not every day that you hire a charter official. We're getting ready to do it with Mr. Haddock, but it was great. And we knew right away when Ann came in and talked to us that she was the right one for the city. And very professional, but yet keeps the city clerk's office fun and enjoyable. And I can tell you personally that although you report to us and your staff reports to Mr. Haddock, your leadership with them is incredible, and it shows every day when I come into City Hall, into the clerk's office, and, you know, Chris Tate, I make fun of her, but she keeps me on track with all of my meetings. Deb and Kathy keep me on track with meetings that I have and upcoming agendas and things like that, and it's all because of your leadership. And Chris Hannon, you guys just have a terrific staff in there, and I'm honored to give this to you in recognition of 10 years. So.
Thank you.
She really does from a personal level, and she knows that I'm involved in a lot of things, and she's constantly reminding me, or her staff is, where I need to be and what day and what time and what we're doing. And so it's very important to me because it helps me reflect good for the city. So you're a big part of that too as well. So, and I think I speak for the other city council members as
Mr. Mayor, I
well.
think she wants to check.
Oh, yeah. Check. Well, I knew she would let me keep talking if I held a check. So anyway, congratulations. You have some family here too. You want to
I do have some family.
divide.
Yeah, everybody in here is really my family.
Yeah.
It's pretty special, the work here. It's absolutely incredible. But I would like to point out some specific family members. I have my son, Thor. Come on up, Thor. And my daughter, Freya. And my mom. And my husband, Scott.
Notice how Thor sits on one side of the aisle, and that's just the Nixon family.
And my Kathy. And come on, Kathy, be in the picture. And I can't believe Angel's been here 10 years. So I'd like Angel in the picture too. Come on, Angel.
Oh, wow.
But it's, 10 years is something else. And it's actually 10 years and 16 days, so I'm well on to 11 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We'll work on your next plaque.
Okay. Oh, it's
Can you
long.
go ahead and order that? if you want.
Thank you. See, that's why Kathy's here, because I wouldn't be anywhere without Kathy and without my family, without the whole community and city council, city attorney, and city manager support. You guys are incredible.
Thanks. Congratulations. Oh, that's right. You have some rules, Adam has other rules. So.
You want to go first, Jeff? No, you go, I insist.
Smile, Ed. Like we like each other? Thank you. Congratulations.
Mayor,
Yes.
a little later on in the, in our agenda down, when you're finally going to let me say something, I hope, at the end of all this, I'm going to bring up something else about the, Ann and the, which she knows I'm going to do this in her department.
Okay. You want to do it now, or you want to do it later?
Later.
Later? There you go. Later's good.
Heard it one time, so
You want to wait till after we adjourn the meeting?
you would like that, but no.
Our next award is the Homer Brunson Ward Schreckengoss Government Award. Catherine Uloa, come on up, please. I hope your ears have been burning. I've been saying Uloa, Uloa, Uloa over in my head. Uloa, Uloa. So, at any rate, we have a little presentation to talk about what the award is, and then we'll tell a little bit about why you're
The
receiving
Homer
it.
Brunson Ward Schreckengoss Award was instituted in 1991, and what it was for, it was for one of our workers here in the city that was chosen by their peers to win the Ward Schreckengoss Homer Brunson Award. And what the award is, it serves two purposes. One, to recognize an outstanding worker here that works for the city of Oldsmar. And the other, what it serves is that Ward Schreckengoss and Homer Brunson were both council members here in the city of Oldsmar. Ward Schreckengoss served as mayor for 16 years. His last year on the council serving was 1970. I had the privilege of serving with him on his last year. And Homer Brunson served 11 years as a council member and 1 year as a mayor. And this, so this serves two purposes: to honor Ward Schreckengoss and Homer Brunson, and to honor one of the incredible workers we have in the city of Oldsmar.
And congratulations. Check, which I'm sure you'll be happy to get, and I'll give you that in a second. But I want to read a little bit about this award, and as the tape indicated, this is really a great honor because it's your peers, the people that you work with day in and day out, that nominate you for this, and it's always such a great honor to do this, and to name it the Homer Brunson Ward Schreckengoss proves that we can get along when we need to as a city. So I'll go ahead and read a little bit. Catherine has been a key participant, and I think the city council, I was reading this earlier today, and the city council loves you for this, I can tell you already. Catherine has been a key participant in the task force made up of Pinellas County building and administrative officials services to modify the current ADG building module to allow direct system access by the Pinellas County inspectors. As an active participant with her positive attitude and willingness to participate in this task force, she has demonstrated all the attributes that are the criteria for the Homer Brunson Ward Schreckengoss Award. She has been proactive in suggesting and or providing changes to the screen views to make the process more efficient so that the goal of this effort can be achieved. These goals include transferring over the physical update of the AGG building inspection module to the Pinellas County inspectors so that they can enter results directly into the system while in the field. Currently, inspections are called into the dedicated phone line, manually typed into a Microsoft Word report, and emailed to the county by 3:30 the day before. Inspection results are emailed back to the building division and manually entered into the ADG building system. 1980 called and they want their software back, I think is what that says. To accomplish the goal of the county inspector's access and update of this system, Catherine suggested modifications to the views and entry levels of the system to make the process more simplified and user-friendly for the inspectors. Testing of the changes was performed by Catherine while still performing the functions of her position, which has assured a successful transition. Once the inspectors have direct access, they will not only be able to enter their own inspection notes, but they will also have the capability of viewing previous inspections and determine more easily in the field any issues that will need to be addressed by the contractor. This will result in a more positive and effective service to the applicants when building inspections are taking place, as previously the inspectors would need to call into the office for historical inspection results. Other changes that were suggested by Catherine and are being implemented will assist not only the building inspection process, but anyone utilizing the ADG building system module. Transferring over the update of the building inspection system to the county inspectors will result in a more sufficient process and allow the building department to focus more on responding to the inquiries and assisting applicants in a timely fashion, which is key to good customer service. Ultimately, the building module will be modified to allow residents and contractors to access the results of the inspection activity. Regarding her regular duties, Catherine is an excellent representative of the city, as demonstrated by the multiple submissions of positive comment cards, which the council all sees, by building permit applicants indicating the helpfulness and positive attitude she exudes in providing high customer service. She is a leader within the building division, requiring minimum supervision by anticipating and resolving permitting issues as they occur. Her helpfulness in dealing with these issues, a successful monitoring of the new permit clerk, and positive attitude impacts not only the building division, but the entire department and the city in a helpful and positive manner. So congratulations. I know the city council. Of us that are involved in this process, and I know I get a lot of it when I go out and meet with people that are moving into the city of Oldsmar and applying for permits. The permitting process is something that I know our city council really wanted to improve, and the communications and the accessibility, and I really thank you, and I know I speak on behalf of the city council that we thank you for that, because I think it's going to take us leaps and bounds into a much more customer service friendly city. So we thank you for all your efforts and still continuing to do your job. So I will read this, and then you can bring up, I guess, the rest of the audience if you would like for a picture. Homer Brunson Ward Schreckengoss Governmental Award presented to Catherine Ulloa for her outstanding service, dedication, and leadership to the city of Oldsmar 2017 first quarter, and not that they will give it to you, but it also comes with a day off, so. Say something, bring up your family.
Okay,
or those that weren't in the last picture.
I want to say thank you for being nominated and selected for the award. I do enjoy working here at the city.
Awesome, thank you. You want to bring up your family? Bring them up. Everybody who wants to be in a picture, come on up. Dean, you want to come up and get in the picture? Hi. How are you? Very nice to see you. You must be related because you've been going around taking pictures. I kind of figured that. Who all do we have? Tell us who you got with us.
My daughter, Alessandra, my son, Aiden, my twin brother, Carlos,
Hey.
my dad, my mom, my aunt, my sister-in-law, my godson, and my uncle.
Oh my God, he works for the city of Dunedin. We'll put you over there on the end. How about that? Oh, firefighter of the year. I apologize.
Can you squeeze a little more together?
Congratulations again. Thank you. And while I'm down here, I got one more award to do, and that is my turn. We take turns rotating between the council members and the city manager awarding the council manager award. And so for April 2017, Francisco Simch, if you could come up, please, that would be great. I asked for a little bit of history on Francisco, just with his relationship with the city, and then I'll tell you the personal part of it as to why I decided to give you this award. A summary of 13 years of Oldsmar's participation projects and activities. Francisco owns an architectural firm, and they work with the city since 2004 when we start the due diligence for the Galleria, which is at the end of State Street and St. Pete Drive. The Galleria building, JES offices at the Galleria, the proposed two-story parking garage at the Galleria. After the Galleria, FSA worked in Oldsmar on a few other projects through the years: Washington Park Townhomes, King Row Mixed Use, Lee Street Mixed Use Building, Top View 580 Mixed Use Building, the GSA 100 Interior Remodeling, the FVS Interior Remodeling. Also participated and selected in the 2006 RFP Town Center project, canceled when the economy collapsed. That's the property right next to City Hall. Participated and selected in the 2013 RFP Town Center project, which was also canceled. Participated in the 2017 Approved Town Center Master Plan, which is ongoing. In 2008 to 2017, participating in the Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Group and volunteering in different parades and events in the city of Oldsmar. And also, this is the reason, one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you. I don't know if you've heard, but the Rays have been a topic of conversation for the city of Oldsmar. Personally, for about 4 years with me, and I guess it was probably maybe a little over a year ago, plus or minus, that Francisco and our city manager, Bruce Haddock, met, and we were talking about, the potential of the Rays Stadium. And once the St. Petersburg City Council allowed the Rays to talk to outside cities, myself and Bruce met with the Rays organization, Brian, Ald, and Melanie, and we started talking about the idea of the Rays potentially moving to a property that we have across, we don't have, but it's in the city of Oldsmar, across from Tampa Bay Downs, about 125 acres. It did a lot of things. It allowed funding from 2 different counties to participate, which is a great thing for a baseball stadium, to reduce the cost. It kind of tied the 2 counties together, and actually the 3rd county in Pasco. And then Francisco, and Bruce might be able to elaborate, or you can, Francisco, a little bit. Bruce and Francisco got together and started talking about concepts, and I know that the concept that was being done in Atlanta for the Atlanta Braves in Cobb County was very similar, I think, in concept to what you had thought about for the city of Oldsmar. So you kindly stepped forward and in the dark of night provided us with some great renderings and drawings that we were then able to go present to various people, including the Rays, again, about the vision, because a lot of people, when you would talk about the site and the Tampa Bay Downs site, they're thinking, is the stadium, is the horse track going to be torn down? But your drawings really helped us paint a great picture, not only for the people that had interest, or even those that didn't have interest in it. It really allowed us to sell the idea. We were able to go back to the Rays this past January. You met with the Rays and really kind of explain your background and your involvement with the firms that are handling the Atlanta Braves in Cobb County. And we don't know where we stand right now. Bruce and I talked about it today. I know we've talked about it in the past. I think the Rays are looking to make a decision. We had hoped at our press conference that we did in October that the thought was 5 months out. But it seems like they've pushed it out to the end of the year, which isn't surprising now that baseball season has started. They want to focus on the team on the field. But we really owe you a great deal of gratitude. If nothing else comes of this other than helping the city of Oldsmar raise the profile of our great city and the vision that we have for that site, whether it's the Rays or the possibility of a mixed use, because it's not just about the stadium. It was about the lifestyle center, as you call it, and really creating something that's great for the community, whether it involves the Rays or not. And so for that, I thank you, and thank you for your time and your firm's time. I know you put a lot of sweat and determination into that, and to really sell a great idea. And I think you helped us whenever we went out and talked to people, I know it helped me a tremendous amount when I would go out and talk to people about what the vision is. Because, of course, as Bruce and I know, 4 years ago when we started talking about this and you said something about a stadium in Oldsmar, they would just kind of laugh at you and say Oldsmar. But through your pictures and renderings and your vision, it allowed us to show that Oldsmar is not the Oldsmar of old. It's not the old Oldsmar. It's the new Oldsmar. And so I just want to thank you on behalf of the city council and the city manager for all the efforts that you did, because I know you have, although you don't live here, you have a passion for our city, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much, all the council members, Bruce, city mayor, and Mr. Mayor, ex-mayor. We've been dealing with the city of Oldsmar since 2004, and it's been, well, you saw it, it's a very familiar type of environment, very personal, and you don't get that in many cities, counties, or official entities. So from the very beginning, that's what we're still around. It's just a magnet to allow us to feel comfortable doing business with the city of Oldsmar. All the different people that have been involved in the city council member in different positions are very serious about wanting the best for the city of Oldsmar, and that really resonates with what me as a person, as a professional, I wanted to do. I wanted to work with people that want the best for their communities. So I'm enjoying these potential projects that will create a very, very serious positive impact in the community and all around. So, we are going all for the race. We put a very strong, bold project that people not only around it, but outside of the state may be interested to bring their needs and their expectations to be in Florida. So you don't know what's going to happen after. Is that we just been participating in something that it's bigger than anything that has been done in the city of Oldsmar. This is a great opportunity, and something good is going to come out of it. So we can wait to see what's going to be that for the city of Oldsmar. So thank you, everybody, for their support, at the same time for their advice and efforts to be part of the whole process. And that makes things a little easier and more fun and interesting to work with. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Where are you going? You don't want a picture? All these years, you've never seen this done before, huh? Oh, that's right. You gotta move over.
The seal photo.
Seal photo.
Ready? I can attest, and Bruce can attest to this also, that he has been a part of Oldsmar for many years, and he's brought a lot of good ideas to the city.
Yes, definitely. Oops. So that concludes the entertainment part of our program tonight. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Now I turn it over to our city attorney.
Now it's going to get interesting.
Yeah. This is where the fight might break out.
Item number 7 on your agenda tonight is the second and final reading of ordinance 2017-05. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2017-05, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, amending Section 66-108 and 66-109 of Chapter 66 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oldsmar to authorize additional designated city streets upon which golf carts may be operated and providing for an effective date hereof. That was the second and final reading of ordinance 2017-05 by title only, and it does require a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address the council on this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. I need a motion.
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on this item?
Nope.
Nope. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Seidel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Councilmember Beegerland?
Yes.
Second and Second and final reading of ordinance 2017-05, permitting golf carts in Eastlake Oaks is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
So Dan, do you have a cart picked out yet?
I'm working on it.
And you're not keeping it at my house.
I know.
Is it one of those famous Volkswagens?
Right.
Yeah. No, it's,
For those that don't know, Dan lives in this neighborhood.
Yes.
And it wasn't instigated by him, but he might have a golf.
yeah, the neighbors will be very happy.
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing on your agenda is to approve the First Amendment to Declaration of Restrictive Covenants for the granting of a parking variance to DSC Sales, Inc. by the Board of Adjustment. Some of you will remember back in 2007, the Board of Adjustment considered a variance to allow a reduction of parking spaces for the expansion or the building of a 66,400 square foot building at 455 Commerce Boulevard by the company known as DSC Sales, Inc. As a direct result of that variance request, the variance board, the Board of Adjustment, granted the variance to allow a variance from 133 parking spaces down to 30 because of the type of business that it is, with the understanding that a restrictive covenant would be recorded so that if the property ever sold or the use had changed, that the property owner will be obligated to permit or require 133 parking spaces to be provided. The business is expanding. It's expanding its warehouse facility by 21,600 square feet. They went back to the Board of Adjustment for an additional variance. Under the current code, 176 parking spaces are required. That's 2 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet of floor area. It being a warehouse business, they presented that they only needed approximately 30 parking spaces to accommodate their 20 employees. The Board of Adjustment granted the variance to allow that reduction with the same contingency as they did in 2007. And so before you tonight is an amendment to that restrictive covenant that I prepared in 2007 to allow this expansion to take place with the understanding that if the property is ever sold or the use changes, then the property owner will be obligated to provide a total of 176 parking spaces. The applicant is here in the audience along with their attorney, Ms. Cole, if you have any questions of them. If you don't have any questions, I'm asking for your authorization to have this First Amendment Declaration of Restrictive Covenant recorded in the public records.
Does the applicant or representative have anything additional to add? No? No? Staff have anything to add? No? No? I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
One thing, we're glad they're here.
Yep, we are glad and glad expanding. So
Congratulations.
thank you to the Board of Adjustments for reviewing this. And, you know, I go to a lot of different facilities and warehousing. Sometimes it's some of the lowest. They need a lot of space, but they do it with, I mean, if Amazon had to provide parking spaces for all their square footage, they'd need thousands of them, but they're able to function with less people. So motion and a second. And if there's no other discussion, all those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Next item, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is presentation and acceptance of annual financial report and audit for fiscal year 2015-2016. Present this evening is John Hauser, a partner of the auditing firm Wells, Hauser & Schatzel, who conducted the city's annual audit. And upon conclusion of the presentation and any questions you might have, I am requesting that by motion the council accept the annual financial report.
And just to let Troop 407 know, we do this every year, so if you find this really exciting, you can come back next year at this same time. Is that correct?
Well, actually, John tried to take, well, actually, he did take over the city building many years ago, and I couldn't get him to pay any rent over there. And I asked Bruce, I haven't seen John this year. He says, well, now he has taken over the
Council chambers.
council chambers.
We just need a little more room.
The rent is higher.
I know, I was in a high rent district in there for sure. But we do miss being on site and interacting with the employees daily, hourly. But yes, we're here for probably about 3 weeks each year. Thank you, Mr. Haddock. You've received in your packets the comprehensive annual financial report. This was prepared by the finance department within the city, and we've completed our audit for the fiscal year ended September 30, 2016. There's several reports. There's a separate report called a required communication. It's a small 2-page report. Basically just goes over some of the broader areas. The city didn't adopt any new accounting policies, and none of the existing policies were changed during the year. We didn't have any disagreements with management, and we were provided all the documentation we requested and completed our audit. We proposed no adjustments. This has been several years now. The records have been in great shape, and we encountered no significant difficulties when we applied our procedures. Bound within the report itself, there's 4 reports. Our independent auditor's report's the first report on page 1, and it expressed an unmodified or a clean opinion on the financial statements of the city. We've also issued a report on internal control and compliance. That's on page 118, and we're pleased to report that we didn't note any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control, nor any non-compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, or grant agreements. Then there's a report on 119, required by the Auditor General of the state of Florida, and we have no reportable items to the Auditor General. The Auditor General does require us to perform what's called a financial condition assessment procedures, which takes the results of the financial statement and then extracts certain data and prepares financial ratios and compares with benchmark cities, other cities that have similar populations and similar fund structures, as well as property values. And the city of Oldsmar compares favorably overall to the benchmarks, and those include cities with populations from 5 to 15,000, taxable property values from 1 to 2 billion, and some of the cities were Atlantic Beach, Cocoa Beach, Fernandina Beach, Marathon, North Palm Beach, St. Augustine, and Treasure Island. There's also a report in accordance with the rules of the Auditor General related to investments. The city has adopted an investment policy, and also in accordance with Florida statutes, and we're pleased to report we saw no instances of non-compliance with the city's policy or the Florida statutes. Separately, the city's prepared a report to Pinellas County for your advanced life support funding, which there's a schedule in the back of the report that breaks down between the fire and the EMS, and this funding can only be used for EMS. That separate report then gets submitted to the county, and it shows that the city actually expended more on EMS than was provided in funding by the county. I'd like to thank the staff during our time here. As I said, they provided all the information we needed, very helpful, very professional, and provided a report, like I say, there were no adjustments to the actual financial statements. I'm just going to focus on 2 statements here. This is a big report. There's the government-wide statements include all the assets of the city, long-term assets and long-term liabilities, your capital assets, depreciation, your debt also. And on page 17, that report, it shows that the total assets of the city increased about $2 million during the year, or about 2%. Overall, it's about $120 million in total assets and deferred outflows. Increases in assets were in cash and investments, prepaid expenditures, construction in progress, and also the fire pension plan continues to have a net asset as opposed to a net liability, although that did decrease some. That net asset now is at around $185,000. The total liabilities only increased $137,000. Total liabilities were about $17.8 million. The difference is your net position, and that's presented in 3 components: invested in capital assets, restricted, and unrestricted. And overall, that net position increased about $1.8 million during the year. The unrestricted portion in the governmental activities was about 6.5 million, and that equates to about 5.7 months of expenditures. In the enterprise funds, it's about 6.5, and that equates to about 8 months of expenditures, and those are both increases over the prior year. Each year that's been increasing, so it's a good trend. The city has a fund balance policy that states that you'll maintain a general fund balance of unassigned of at least 15% of the expenditures currently budgeted, and that was at 40% at 9/30/16. Page 18 and 19 is the statement of activities. This takes into account all the operations of the city on a departmental basis, shows the cost and expenses, the program revenues that support those departments, and a net cost to operate the governmental activities. Overall, the expenses for government were about 13.5 million. That's an increase of about 600,000 during the year. Those were then supported by program revenues, resulting in net cost of about 10 million. And then the general revenues, your property taxes, sales taxes, shared revenues, covered those costs to where there was an excess within the governmental activities around 400,000 for the year. In the business type activities, your enterprise funds, those costs were about 9.8 million. Program revenues resulted in an overall positive or net income for about $740,000. Those are divided up into the water reclamation, reverse osmosis water plant, stormwater utility, and the solid waste. And each department other than water reclamation showed a positive results. And the solid waste, for the first time in many years, actually showed a positive result of about 27,000. Following these statements, you have the fund financial statements, the notes. There's 10 years of historical data within the statistical section, a lot of good information. In the notes, you'll see narrative as well as tabular information that goes into more detail. But overall, that's kind of the highlights of the 9/30/16. If anybody has any questions, be glad to address them now.
Mr. Mayor, I'll tell you, we've sat through quite a few of these reports, and there's nothing better than having a boring audit report given to you because everything's going well. Like when you go through it and you're looking for something and there's nothing. So I just want to congratulate the city and admin staff for the work they've done on this, but numbers are terrific.
Yeah, I think
Great work,
To follow up
city manager.
I second that. The city doing a great job. Thank you so much for your hard work.
To follow up on Harry, it is boring. It is extremely boring. But let me tell you something. And John can verify.
Wasn't always boring.
Let me tell you the importance of this. There's a lot of cities in the state of Florida that are in trouble, that are in desperate trouble in the report that he just gave, that glowed for us. A little bit of history. I apologize for this. I said I wasn't going to do this again, but I am going to do it now. When I became president of the Northeast Sewer Water Authority in 1976, after we built our AWT plant, which I didn't have the authority to do, but I did it anyway. I had the city I hired an auditor for the authority and made the city pay for it. I also hired an attorney and made the city pay for it, which I didn't have any authority to do, but you probably wouldn't have agreed with me, but they did. And the only thing that we could audit was the sewer and the water part of it. The city had their own auditors. And my auditors came back and said, your city is in dire trouble. You're lucky the state hasn't come down here and closed you down. And I said, well, I didn't ask him why, because the boring part of it I probably wouldn't have understood anyway. I went to the city council. I'm going to tell them, I said, you people have an auditor that you need to fire now. because you're about to be closed down, because you don't know what's going on in your own city's budget. Luckily, they hired their auditor and hired the one I had hired for the authority over the sewer plant. That's how important this boring thing is. Without it, and Bruce can attest to this, there's a lot of cities in trouble because they don't hire a decent auditor, or they don't listen to them. Am I right, Bruce? It happens. Thank you, John.
We'll let your audit report stand on its own, and we'll let his commentary.
Okay.
But I got to tell you, I'm on several different boards, and I've sat through 3 different auditing reports, and it is nice. Obviously, I have a vested interest in the city, but it's nice to hear, especially in the enterprise funds, because that wasn't always the case, to hear that they're self-sufficient and, in fact, on the positive side. So those, along with the other numbers, the reserve fund that we try and rainy day fund that we try and keep, and no errors either, or corrections. I think that attests to Al and his staff, as much as it pains me, but we do appreciate what you guys do and the city staff providing you everything that you need. So
Very professional.
yeah. So
Yeah, and I think it's exciting to see our reserve grow.
yeah.
That we're up almost to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And, it kind of runs counter to some of the stuff you see, and I promise I won't go off on a tangent about it, about some of the stuff you see going on in Tallahassee, where they're suggesting that, fees and so forth, there should be no reserves involved and all these other things. And yet if a storm hit here,
Yeah.
Tallahassee's not sending us a check, are they, Bruce? Probably not.
Well,
And so we better be
let's hope
able
we
to,
don't have to find that one out.
we better be able to fend for ourselves, so it's exciting.
Yeah, and to that point, I'm on the Tourist Development Council, and they've started to up their reserves for just that case, because they're talking about Enterprise Florida, either going away or deleting a lot of their funds. And so, although it's the tourist development, it's similar to that in that they want to have reserves in case that funding mechanism goes away. So it is important. The numbers really are important, and it makes us look good as a city. And, it lets us keep our millages rate, in place and not have an impact on the taxpayers. And so, that's not the case for a lot of municipalities. So thank you again.
It's, the council can take about this much credit for all this. It's Bruce
Yep.
and his staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
The staff has made us look good for how many years now?
A lot.
22?
You mean the award that we
Yeah.
get every year?
Award
It's
that we
about
get.
28 or 29 years, I think.
Right.
27, something like that.
Staff, thank you.
Almost as many years as you've been on council, Jerry.
28 years.
Give or take.
Thank you. Do you need action from us?
Need a
A
motion?
motion to accept the
moved.
report.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Item 10, a status report on Empower Adventure Zip Line. With us this evening is Joe DeRing, President of Empower Adventures Tampa Bay. They've been in operation at Mobley Bayou for almost a year. Operation started last June, and Joe is here this evening to give the council a report on what's been accomplished and achieved and how things have gone during this initial phase of the operation.
Yes, good evening. Again, Joe DeRing. Our office is at 170 State Street East, here in the great city of Oldsmar. So it's been about a year since we have opened our facility, which is located on Lafayette Boulevard here in town. And so I just wanted to go through a few brief slides here to show you what we've been able to do here. So a few statistics about who we've served and the folks who have come out. We've serviced over 7,500 people who had visited our facility, 46 of whom have been between the ages of 36 and 50 years old, with another 33% over 51 years old. So about 80% of our guests are adults. who have yearned for adventure and to come out there and take on the zipline course. Our highest concentration of visitors is from Palm Harbor, Oldsmar, and the neighborhoods north of Tampa. And we regularly welcome visitors from as far east as Lakeland, as far north as Crystal River, and as far south as Bradenton. We have been honored and pleased to see that we are earning unanimously 5 stars for our experiences that we are offering our guests. And those reviews come through TripAdvisor, Google, Facebook, Yelp. We truly have, I believe, become a destination for folks from Tampa as well as the beaches who are traveling for leisure and who have come to the area from out of the state. And lastly, we have held team building and leadership experiences for over 20 different groups who come to us from various corporations across the area, including Tech Data, who did their company picnic out there at the park with us, Bloomin' Brands, Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Classic Track from right next door to us on State Street, Habitat for Humanity, and others. Just to give you a pictorial about how folks have heard about us and where they've come from, we ran a 4-month promotion on Groupon, and that has been by far our biggest marketing driver. Next to that has been simply word of mouth, which in my experience has always been a very popular and robust way to spread the word. Next has been social media, the value of getting on Facebook and showing images and videos, as well as other media, of course, Google, and then folks who have been out at the park, who have been driving by, who have been in the area for any of the many festivals that the city hosts. So that's been a major marketer for us as well. And in our partnership with the city, we do pay a revenue share, and by month we have it listed out there according to our gross revenue. So coming up in June, we will owe the city, with the last 2 months still to be certain here, but over $26,000 for use of the property there at the park.
I had a quick question. So
Yes.
I was talking to Bruce about service, so that calculates out, is that about $500,000 so far that you guys have brought in revenue?
About
That
that.
was pretty surprising.
About 520?
Yeah, I was surprised. that it was
Fantastic.
that high.
522.
Eric, what is the exact number? Because I know you have it written down.
They forecasted 600, actually, in the back last year, for your first year. So quite honestly, being what, 13, 15% off for your first year,
Pretty good.
that's pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
Thank
Pretty
you.
solid.
So we obviously can't do this alone. We have a lot of community partners. Obviously, the city of Oldsmar has been a great supporter, and we have partnered with not only Deb and the marketing collaboration that we've done, but also we are hosting city employees as a complimentary offering for them to come out. Certainly working with the city and the Parks Department and Laura and Brian and all the guys who work out there at the park and making sure that we are partnering with the cleanliness of the park, the traffic at the park. Being a good steward of the environment out at the park is very important to us as well. Next, the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce have been extremely supportive. We've held a mingle out at our facility. We are involved with the relationship builders, involved with many of the events at the Chamber. I've recently been nominated to the Board of Directors for the Chamber, so I'm excited about that for this coming year. And so continuing to be a partner with them in the business community. I went over to the Oldsmar Elementary School for Career Day and worked with some of the students there for their Career Day experience. essentially, we ran an adventure ground-based leadership experience for the kids who had an absolute blast. So that was a great way to work with the school. We just recently brought out a new, what we call our Zip and Sip package. So you come out to our facility, have a zip line tour, and then go to one of the food and beverage establishments here in town. We had been using City Fish. They've rebranded. So we brought on Aki Sushi as our SIP partner. Great family, great food, very close, easy for our customers to go from the park to their establishment. So we're excited about that package. And then, of course, Amichi's Catering does an amazing job, and they cater for many of our corporate group luncheons and food and beverage needs. So. I mentioned the Oldsmar City Employees Zipline program. So the third Wednesday of every month, we are inviting a group of Oldsmar employees to come out. We're going to take them through our extreme zip tour. We're going to give them an opportunity by department to work together, to zip together, to have fun and bond together. And this is being coordinated through the Leisure Services Department.
Nice.
A little bit of economic impact from a small organization like ours. We know that 7 out of 10 guests who come out to our facility are spending money in the restaurants, shops, and boutiques in Oldsmar. Many of the folks who come to us from outside the area make a day of it, whether it be the flea market, whether it be the skating academy, or any of the other various festivals or events that are held here in the city. We also know that the restaurants are a major draw. If you've ever been on the zipline course, and at the end, nearly 100% of the time, the question is, where can we go to eat? And so we are not short on options to let people know to frequent. Additionally, we employ over 20 full-time and part-time staff, and these staff use Oldsmar. Our office uses Oldsmar, Elite Events and Rentals, BB&T, all the different service providers here in town. We keep it local. We have had the great privilege of earning some great media this past year with the different networks that have come out. Oldsmar Connect has been a great supporter in covering some of our events. Been on the radio with WFLA. So all of these earned media opportunities not only promote what we're trying to achieve here, but also who we're trying to achieve it with, the city. And lastly, this is my favorite slide. This is why we do what we do, empowering those who need it the most. And we've all been in positions in our life where you need to be uplifted, where you need a positive breakthrough experience to help get you out of whatever you may be dealing with in terms of challenge. And so we have tried to do that as much as we possibly can this past year with charitable contributions to over 85 organizations and causes, totaling more than $15,000 given in monetary donations as well as goods and services. And some of those organizations include Oldsmar Cares, GeoFest, you can see the list here, Man Up and Go, Oldsmar Elementary, Habitat for Humanity, Take Stock in Children, who we have a guide whose sister was actually a scholarship recipient from Take Stock in Children. So that was pretty gratifying to see. And of course, Leadership Pinellas and youth leadership. So, using what what God put us on this earth for and what we do well to help those who may need it or can't help themselves is what Empower is all about. So that's my short presentation. Thank you for the opportunity to present it, and I'd be happy to take a couple questions.
Sure. I have a question, and I don't know how prepared you are to answer it tonight, but I know this came up at a council meeting probably about a month or 6 weeks ago, and about your future needs and what you're looking to do. I know you and I have had dialogues. I was out at the Zip Park today just seeing what was going on, and We had talked about additional services. Obviously, the better you do, as we saw by the numbers, the better it is for the partnership with the city. What are the future plans, short, long term, the next 6 to 12 months for you guys? I know there was some discussion about a little bit more permanent of a facility. Currently, you use our 10,000 square foot environmental education center for kind of your check-in and orientation. Works well most of the time, but obviously we rent that out. I know you had a recent situation with the wedding, and you'd talked to me several months ago about a small building that you could a little bit more permanently work out of and check people in and out and secure your facility and when you and I talked the other day, potentially enhance your ability to move more patrons through adding kayaking or paddleboarding and things like that to make it a bigger experience for the city. Can you address that a little bit if you could?
Sure. Yeah, we in our experience with our office on State Street and the facility at the park in the Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve, having that disjointed team or separated team with the office staff versus the delivery staff, if you will, has been difficult and challenging. And then you have the environmental factors of the weather and the rainstorms. And so going through what we went through last summer with the lack of an enclosed facility there at the park, not only for guests, but for guides, for gear, for equipment, for any paper that happens to survive the wind. Just having an enclosure would be ideal. I did write a letter and send it to the Leisure Services Department, exploring what the options would be and what kind of conversations would need to take place to see if that's possible. So that's in terms of the office space. That's what was our thought there. In terms of creating more experiences, again, partnering with the city, partnering with Leisure Services, want to figure out how can we best leverage that partnership for the ecotourism, for making the best use of that park. It's such a beautiful place, and we certainly want to get as many people out into the bayou, on the water, in the air, walking the trails as we can. And so working with Leisure Services in the city, we would love to take a look at what might be best.
Back to the facility, how big of as I understand it, and I don't know if this has changed, but looking at putting it on the location where the previous men's and women's bathroom was that got moved over by the tennis courts, we're not talking something, how big would you say, footprint wise? Yeah,
I would say nothing more than 600 square feet.
Okay. So, I know this was brought up and Councilmember Lieberland, feel free to chime in because I believe you're the one that had requested this.
I had great questions, and I was told that this wasn't going to bring it up tonight, but you've managed to bring it in here, and I don't want to talk about it tonight.
Okay.
I do.
I want, this is our opportunity to talk
I
about
have some questions since he's here, if that's all right. On the structure that you're talking about, because I actually think I was the one who ended up adding this to the agenda.
Yeah, I'm
or
not sure.
requesting it.
I'm not sure how it.
In any event. And I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. I think it's good. I think it's good for the city. It is bringing people in. I've been out there. I brought my family out there and taken them out. I think that was us in December because the bill was pretty high. But if I understand correctly, what you'd like to be able to do, I assume, is eliminate the office on State Street and move it over there in that structure. And what I would say to you, which I think would be fair and equitable, if you were doing that, that expense you eliminate there should be put into the city of Oldsmar. Because the concept of giving more real estate, be it small as we're talking about, and I think it's practical too. Like I said, I've been over there going out. I realize the agreement talks about, and I'm getting micro here about, facilities, but the actual plan didn't include that. So in fairness, there should be some quid pro quo if that was to occur and it was something that was approved. But I recognize it would be better for the city, the more success you have, we want to be fans of. I was curious, how do you guys feel about the way the year went financially?
Well, it's a work in progress, just like any startup is. You put a plan in place, you work as hard as you can to achieve your goals and objectives, and you learn from every first month in your fiscal year so that you can improve upon it and do better the next month. So we feel good.
You feel good about the results?
Yeah,
and
we
the
feel
way they're
good
trending
about.
for the year. Do you feel like they'll be what you hope for next year? Do you think it'll have an acceleration curve?
We do, yeah. We believe that there'll be growth month over month.
I know that you had forecasted 700,000 for the second fiscal year. Mind you, it's a forecast. It's done when you don't know the environment of what's going to happen and everything else. But do you anticipate it trending that kind of way?
I would say we're going to work hard to get there. Sure, we're going to bust our to get there for sure.
How's the ropes course doing?
Great.
Is it?
It's a great add-on to the zipline course. We have found that it is just enough of the climbing, traversing, bridge type of apparatus to whet the palate of that adventure seeker. But most people come to our facility to zipline, and so to have both has really met a need, I feel. So
I know the mayor, when we were out there, when he and I did it, he was really excited about it when we climbed up on that pole.
Yeah.
But
I climbed it. I jumped off.
Yeah.
And that's only been, what, about 6 months that's been?
Yeah.
October we opened that.
Okay.
Joe,
I have one suggestion to make, and this is probably, while you're here, it's a good time to make it. When I was out on the course with my family, we were with another family that was out there, very nice people. They were from out of town. And you know what would be terrific? And Jerry is the one to do this, and that is to write a few little facts about, like when you're standing at the different platform, when you look certain ways, it would be, I remembered some of the things, quite frankly, things I've learned from you, but the other people who are on the tour, I think the tour guides, I don't say they struggle, but they are looking for something to say that's kind of broad and educational about the area. And it would be really good if maybe you provided some shots, because Jerry's not going to go up on those platforms. I don't think that's happening.
Well, let me finish what I was going to do, and I'll.
Anyhow, I'm sorry. I was
Just let him
thinking about
finish
it.
and
That would be terrific if you could share some of that with them when they're.
Everybody knows I would have voted against the zip line if I'd have had the opportunity. But I want to tell you that I'm impressed tonight with your presentation.
Thank you.
I am very, very impressed with it. And
I didn't know about the charitable part of it, which I think is huge too. And I think that, I mean, I know you've done stuff, but that's great. Go ahead. I apologize.
The zip line has not been a tragedy for the city of Oldsmar. I admit that. But
Mark that tape.
What does that say? They're not moving out of the neighborhood around there. And
no, but and I would have rather have talked about where we got off course at a different council meeting. But
I was not aware that we weren't going to talk about. I was prepared to talk about the whole thing, so that's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. You're the mayor. You can bring up whatever you want. But there is. I feel like I'm hanging myself here. But anyway.
No, go right ahead.
Go ahead. We got nothing but time. Here's where the fight takes place.
There are a lot of. When the poop plant was a poop plant, I got on top of what is now the observation tower. When that was in the works in the 60s, I used to get on top of that, the big one. And it wasn't a pretty thing, but you could walk around it. And I look out there on Mobley Bay, and that's where this has all come from. What an incredible sight. Mm-hmm. See, the Tocotaboggy Indians were here. There was more Tocotaboggy Indians in the city of Oldsmar than there was in Safety Harbor. They just happened to have the mound, and we don't have the mound. somewhere that can be pointed out, a diagram. There's so many things that you could see if they aren't having a heart attack going down the line.
You're talking
Pointed
about
out.
I'll tell you, the people who go on that family, they would have loved that. I mean, they were enjoying what facts I knew and what stuff I could make up as quick on the fly, but
I will guarantee it, because I know that nobody on this council can counteract my guarantee. Somewhere in the Mobley Bay, there is a Tococabaga Indian canoe out there somewhere buried. But anyway, I will tell you that I am impressed with what you've done. I do support the zip line now, but I still would have voted against it.
I got you.
Mayor, I have one question.
Hold on, let me
Oh, okay.
finish.
And
he's hanging himself. That's
he just wants me to hang myself. But thank you. I am glad it's there, and I'm glad it's doing well. And I'll be more happy when we get the $26,000.
Thank you, Councilmember
I have a
Bueller.
couple questions too.
Yeah, can we let Dan go? He was trying to chime in.
So, about 2 years ago, I went on a paddleboard. A private company came into the Mobley Bay, and we went on a paddleboard tour through the mangroves, and it was great. Do you plan on doing that? That was my question. Is that something in the future?
Yes, we would love to be able to provide those types of tours, stand-up paddleboard, kayaks, and other for sure.
Is that in your future goals?
It's not in this next year's budget, but it would be if we could expand to that.
Okay, and then the last thing I just want to say, you and I have spent a lot of time together on the bus and stuff at Leadership Pinellas, and I just want to thank you for everything you're doing for the city. I think the zip line is fantastic, and I really appreciate all your hard work and your friendship. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
Councilmember?
I have a question. The current space that you have here on State Street, how many square feet is that? Do you know?
It's about 600, between 500 and 600. It's just a small little
But
one-room
imagine you
office.
probably need more than that, though, if you're going to combine it with your delivery team, like them having usable space out there and
No,
staging
not
for
really.
customers?
We're pretty minimalistic, so there's not a lot of need there. Really, it's just the enclosure that we need. And again, there's no sense of urgency on our part. We don't need it tomorrow. It was clear. It was just a question that I had for Leisure Services and to explore how, as partners, we could move in that direction. But there's nothing that's requiring us to have that right away.
So this weekend I was out at the park, I was shooting hoops, and
Shooting hoops.
Were you in your high heels?
No,
Oh, we should do that. I'd win there.
What, high heels?
Heels.
No high heels. I'm
Come
out
on,
of that.
Gabby, we're going now.
but the cement that's on the ground next to the basketball court, was that the old skate ramp area? Like there's just literally
Yes, I
a
think-
large cement square. And I was thinking, what are we doing with this space? Because the skate ramp park has not been here in forever. So my thought in your presentation tonight is maybe that's not idealistically where you'd want to be because it's on the other side of the pond, but it is at the entrance to the park, so it would give you good visibility. And it's completely wasted space as of right now. I mean, it's literally a concrete shell on the ground. So just throwing that idea out there when I was out there, and it just dawned on me today that maybe that's potentially, I don't know how many kind of square feet of space that would be, but I think more than 600 square feet. So it was pretty large.
I'm not, logistically, I don't know how.
That's why this should be a separate agenda item.
Well, I'm just bringing it up because I was out there and I thought we have this wasted use of concrete on the grass here that no one's probably used this for anything else next to the basketball court. So
Thank
maybe
you.
that's a viable option for something in the future. And the other thing I was going to say is I voted for the zip line, but I think you guys do an excellent job. I needed some tickets for a charity event within Tech Data because they're in my account with Cisco, and very easily obtained them and was able to donate them for
Great.
a package. So thank you very much for the support from the city.
Thanks. I know we weren't prepared to necessarily talk about that, but I think it's important to the overall picture that we're looking at moving forward with the relationship that we've had. I think the stewardship that you provide for the city of Oldsmar and the leadership that you provide, I think, is great. I've been at functions with you, the Veterans Ceremony, and your passion for the city is second to none, I think, and it shows. I think the presentation was great. I thought the the charitable part, I know that's important to you guys, and you don't do it because you have to do it. You do it because you want to do it, and it's the right thing to do. So I like that. I mean, your projections from last year, I mean, it's your first year here. I know you have other zip lines in other areas, but you don't have them in Florida where we have the monsoon rains that we have. And, it's kind of hard, as you were saying, it's kind of hard to forecast when you have.
Hey, those are good numbers.
Yeah, when you're looking at, sometimes there were 10 days of rain, and, I think there were probably some growing pains initially with, technology with the Wi-Fi's and really getting yourself up and running the way you want your operation to run. And I don't know that you're 100% there yet. I love Eric's ideas of, I don't know if you would call them wayfinding, but to maybe put, like when you have walking trails or things like that, but to have little signs that could be out, that says, that's while they're standing there, that's downtown Tampa or this lake or his canoe or, if you look off in the distance, you're seeing 22 miles and you're looking at downtown St. Petersburg and
Former home of the Rays.
yeah, the former home of the Rays or the next home of the Rays and, just some of the environmental things that, because your people are trying to conduct a tour and keep people safe and, that's their main objective is to keep everybody safe. And so, sometimes you get caught up in that, especially with some of the big groups. I was out there today and there was, a group of probably 10 or 12 being followed by a group of 3 or 4. And so they were trying to navigate the platforms together and stuff like that. So I like that idea. I guess I was not aware that this was, alternative thing for the office. I didn't know if the office was staying, but it does make sense logistically to keep it there because a lot of times you get people that walk up and want to sign up. They think it's not, most of the time yours are done by groups online and things like that, but occasionally you'll get somebody that would do that. And, it probably makes for a much more efficient machine and allows you to probably service more people, which in turn helps promote the city and get us that. So, I mean.
And likewise, as a partner of the city, promoting the leisure services programs and their kayak tours and everything that wonderful department does as well, we could be a concierge of some sort for the ecotourism and recreation, and there's so much of it here. And that's why I'm so passionate about the city and why I believe there's no other place in the world like it.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, this is just a question of Bruce. I mean, I know the agreement that we have with them is a separate issue and, how that works and space and things like that. But for something, let's say, 600-700 square feet, whether it's at where Gabby's mentioned or if it's at the old location of the previous bathroom, because there's, I assume electricity and facilities there. Is that something that would typically, and I think this came up at the last, is that typically something that would even come before council?
No, it wouldn't come before council. Typically, Joe and I have had some discussions also about future activities. And as far as the office, Joe's aware that the process would be an application for a site plan amendment. And you may have gotten the application even, I'm not sure. But that's been part of our discussion. And also, Joe has indicated that Empowered Ventures is willing to probably provide some additional financial contribution or revenue, as Eric was mentioning, for the use of additional property. So we've had some conversations about that, and really it's on their schedule. So that's kind of where things would be going forward. But the process would be just an amendment to the site plan. It would not require council action.
Not that it has any bearing on anything, but how long is your lease with the State Street property?
It's till March of next year.
Of 18?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so
we just renewed it.
That's kind of it, so basically a year. So
that's right.
I guess if there was a time frame on it, that would probably, in an ideal world, that would be.
Again, I say this should be a separate.
Okay, well, it can be, but it's on the agenda, so I want, he's here to talk about it, so I wouldn't mind talking about it.
Well, we can't make a decision on that tonight anyway.
I don't know, I'm not sure there's a decision to be made, but, I mean, Bruce just indicated that it
Won't come before.
It won't, and that doesn't necessarily.
I was raising the point, just put it out there.
Just to put it out there, because as the city manager indicated, this doesn't necessarily need to come before council.
No, but I will request it does.
Okay, I mean, and that was what was requested, so that's why the dialogue was.
But you know what? I voted for the zip line. and I'd vote for it again.
I would too. I would too. Sorry, Jerry. You'd lose 4-1. Maybe 4 and a 1.
The only reason why this keeps going on and on and on tonight is because it comes back on top of me.
Yeah, we'll just keep feeding you rope, that's all.
I did have one comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your guides, terrific.
They are terrific.
Absolutely terrific. I
All
think
your
you guys,
employees.
with all your involvement in the community, awesome. Your guides are really good.
And to kind of summarize and close it up, I know at the beginning you and I had some dialogue. There was some dialogue that happened at the council meetings and what the community maybe, or a few people in the community envisioned that this was going to be. You know, this was, you know, Oldsmar's version of Busch Gardens is what they were painting it out to be. And I appreciate you reaching out to several of the residents that had expressed concern initially. One of them, the gentleman whose house burned down, I know he was one of the vocal ones. And I think that's turned out to be, you know, much to do about nothing. I think it's a great experience. And I think the people that thought the sky was falling, as Bruce was indicating, you know, found out that it's not, you know, it's not that. It's a very organized, you know, group, and you do a great job of doing that. So I appreciate you taking the effort to set our residents at ease as to what the experience was, because that was a big issue at the beginning. And
we recognize it's the residents' park, and we want to, you know, be transparent with everything we do, and want to welcome them to come out and talk to us about any of those concerns. And we were able to have those dialogues, and I believe since then there hasn't been too many issues.
Or the night ships.
I hope we can move on after my next comment. The only problem I had with it is because it was a Mobley Bay, which is a beautiful bay that goes thousands of years back as it was then. Now, can we move on?
How are the night ships doing?
Just fine.
Good. Yeah, I appreciate it. It is a great experience, and I like Eric's idea about, you know, maybe enhancing it through visual things that people can see, both on the ground or, you know, at check-in or what have you.
Yeah,
So
thank you for
I
that
like
suggestion.
I like that idea.
Great.
So. Anything else? How about you, Jerry? You got anything else?
No, I just want
Want some more rope?
move on.
Want some more rope? You're the one asking to move on. How about that? Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
Next item, adopt resolution 2017-04 approving the 2016 concurrency test statement. This is an annual occurrence, and I would like to ask Marie Dauphiné, our Planning and Redevelopment Director, to give you a brief report about this 2016 concurrency statement. Before Marie starts, I will read the resolution by title only. This is a resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, adopting the 2016 concurrency test statement pursuant to the requirements of the Land Development Code, Article 11, and providing for an effective date. That was the reading of Resolution 2017-04 by title only. I recommend its adoption.
I only have one comment. So you have so many other things important to do that the state of Florida has nothing else to do. Cause you to waste your time doing this.
Oh, yes, they do. We just did it. 4 hours of ethics training that they impose on us.
That's at the top of the
So
list.
there's another 4 hours you can't get back to your life.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap.
Well, this is an annual report. It is boring, but it's necessary. It's part of our code. I don't know if it's more boring than the annual financial statement.
Can we not schedule both these on the same night?
So what is concurrency? The purpose is that public facilities and services needed to support development be available concurrent with those impacts. And when is concurrency required? It's required for non-residential site plans, multifamily site plans consisting of 4 or more units, single-family subdivisions. And which facilities and services are included? So we have them for transportation, potable water, sanitary sewer, solid waste, parks and recreation, and drainage. So this year, there was actually 3 new site plans. They were a industrial building. It was on Dunbar Avenue, a restaurant at State Road 580, O'Reilly's Auto Parts store. There was also 2 development agreements that the council considered in 2016, but the site plans were not approved till 2017, so they're not part of this report. Let's see what else here. So I'm just going to briefly go through it, and if there's any questions you have during this.
Marie, can I ask you a separate question, but it's related because it struck my mind when it came up? That restaurant at 580 Bayview, is that moving forward?
Well, actually, today, the DOT permit that they were waiting for was given to the applicant, so the site plan hopefully will go forward now. They had submitted some time ago, and we were just kind of, it was in a holding pattern. It's affecting our days to issue permits too. But they got the permit from DOT, so hopefully it'll go forward.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the population in Oldsmar is, in 2016, is 14,230. We had 1 annexation. As far as transportation facilities, there are 3 deficient roadways: Forest Lakes Boulevard between State Road 580 and Tampa Road, Forest Lakes Boulevard between Pine Avenue and the Hillsborough County line, and Tampa Road between State Road 580 and Curlew. Now, that hasn't changed since last year or the year before that. So we continue to allow development along that as long as it doesn't really impact the level of service of the roadways. So, water and sewer, we're using 63.15% of the reverse osmosis and water treatment plant facility. And these 3 developments will not impact that. And water reclamation facility, we're using 67.16% of the capacity. Solid waste, 19,423 tons collected, 975 tons of recycling, and these will not impact development, these 3 developments. And each of the developments has a unique drainage plan for disposal of stormwater that is approved during the site plan process. We just talked about Parks and Recs somehow with the zip line. There are 11 park areas spread out over 545 acres. That's pretty impressive. And that includes BMX, track, baseball fields, playgrounds, docks, trails, picnic shelters, etc. So we don't really have to worry about any impact to our Parks and Recs facilities. So as I said, the annual concurrency test statement only includes the new site plans, and many other developments were approved, minor amendments, variances, land use amendments, etc., and that's at the end of the report. So if you have any questions.
Comment. Now that you're going to do all this work, now you're going to fill it out.
File it.
Then you're going to send it to Tallahassee. Tell me who's going to read it.
Nobody.
You can't.
I think it's a good metric so we can see,
If you want to do it here, that's great. But when it's mandatory, what's that word?
Mandatory?
From Tallahassee.
Mandated.
Community affairs aren't even there anymore. Nobody's going to read it. I appreciate you giving it to us.
Yeah, it's good information.
It is good.
Well, at one time, and Bruce can back me up, we had some issues with water and, transportation issues and parks and recreation, we didn't have enough. So, I mean, we started from some.
What we had a problem with is community affairs. That's who we had the problem with. Now that they're gone, hallelujah.
We need some starting point so we can constantly improve, increase, make sure that we have enough so development can continue to occur.
We can solve that problem without
Hearing this guy in the front row right here.
Jerry, can we move on?
Yeah, can we move?
Any other questions?
Thank you.
No, thank you, Marie.
Great.
And from the For What It's Worth department, when I saw the O'Reilly Auto Parts thing up there and I looked at the architecture, in my thing where my city pins are and all that, I still have the paint chip from Thornton's, just in case you ever want to see it again, so.
Do any of you Boy Scouts desire to be on council now?
Don't let him persuade you not to, it's great. Vote
We're all
4-1.
enjoying it.
Oh, so you're looking for a motion?
Resolution to consider.
Looking for a motion to adopt Resolution 2017-04. Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, item 12, authorize the city attorney to prepare an ordinance annexing West Oldsmar Section 1, Block 7, Lot 7, and also Block 18, Lot 8. So these are two separate parcels. Of course, these are voluntary annexations at the request of the property owner. The first one is located at 3157 Huron Avenue, and the second one is a vacant lot. It fronts on Phoenix Avenue. Both have been reviewed by the planning board. They recommend that the annexation proceed as well. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I am requesting that you authorize the city attorney to prepare appropriate annexation ordinance.
One at a time.
Two at a time this time.
This time, too. Is there any way we can put it in the ordinance, one at a time?
You need a motion?
Yep, motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, the next item, approve a modification to the Cypress Lakes Industrial Park Property Improvement Matching Grant Program to include certain properties on Commerce Boulevard located north of Vollmer Avenue and south of Forest Lakes Boulevard. So the program has been in place for several years, and we've had a number of businesses participate. The focus and purpose of the program is to not only maintain but also to improve the exterior appearance of facilities in the Cypress Lakes Industrial Park. The recommendation for the expansion actually would only include an additional 5 or 6 properties on Commerce Boulevard. Some of them are also 25 to 30 years old, probably the oldest ones. And I think it would be worthwhile to expand the program in this very reasonable and moderate direction of including, like I said, no more than 5 or 6 additional properties. And that is our recommendation this evening. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those.
I just have one question. How do we, I mean, I think it's great to try and improve, especially in industrial areas, to try and give them, as much sex appeal as you can, but how do we notify these people that this grant program is available? Not just them, but anybody, but these 5 or 6 in particular. Is there any notification process to?
It'd be pretty easy to notify these 5 or 6. One of them is already interested.
Right.
That's kind of the impetus to make this change.
Right.
So I would say probably it's been through word of mouth, although we, our interactions with those businesses, we make it available when maybe they come in for something else. Maybe they come in to get a sign permit, or they want to make changes to their parking lot or things like that. So we let them know about it when that happens as well.
Okay. I need a motion.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Jerry, you were saying? Okay.
All good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Thank you. Item 14, approve Canal Park name change to Canal Park Sports Complex. So this issue has been discussed previously. We did ask the Leisure Services Advisory Board to weigh in on it also, and they have also recommended the change. This evening, Felicia Donnelly, our Leisure Services Director, can give you a little more background on it.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Felicia Donnelly, Leisure Services Director. At the March 13th meeting, the Leisure Service Advisory Board made a motion approved unanimously to change the name from Canal Park to Canal Park Sports Complex, and for the consideration of the council.
Awesome.
I have some commentary. I mentioned to Bruce earlier. I would prefer that we change the name to the Oldsmar Sports Complex. And the reason why I say that is because, one, I think nationally, if we were to have an event or something with BMX or baseball or soccer in the future, the Canal Park Sports Complex gives no recognition to the city or the location. I think that the area where the park is, as residents or visitors come through on a pass-through to Tampa Road to Tampa, there's really not a welcome to the city of Oldsmar or recognition that they're within the city of Oldsmar versus Eastlake or other areas. I think a nice good sign that says Oldsmar Sports Complex at that park would be valuable for us for some branding and recognition.
I
So
agree.
I think that
How about
that's the
how about a
direction.
hybrid, like the Oldsmar Sports Complex at Canal Park, or?
But I mean, to me, Canal Park, I mean, it's,
Right, yeah, it's a kind of a canal.
I don't know where the name came from originally, so I don't want to
canal?
discredit it, but I just,
Let me tell you something about the
or
canal.
Jerry came up with that.
There was a lake there, in Lake Park.
All the canal has done is ruin the top of Old Tampa Bay. I think Oldsmar Sports Complex is fine, and leave out the canal, because the canal has ruined the
I
top
think,
of
I mean,
Old
it's
Tampa
not like
Bay.
we're canoeing down the canal at the park, so I don't think it's necessary to have it in the name. I think Oldsmar
I think
Sports
it's smart.
Complex. And there's not another sports complex necessarily within the city, so it's not like we're competing with other parts of the
We'll
city.
probably not have any other ones either.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Mayor, does it have to go back to the Leisure Services Board? I mean, I agree with Gabby, too.
That was just a recommendation from the board, I guess. We ultimately
You can do what you want. I think it might
take it back to
might
them.
not hurt to just table this and run it by them again, so they at least
Yeah,
have an
let them,
opportunity.
yeah.
So are the options that we're hearing is just flat out Oldsmar Sports Complex or Oldsmar Sports Complex at Canal Park?
I
just
don't
for-
want to overcomplicate
No.
it with length, yeah.
No, only reason is just because that's what it's been known, it's kind of like when you merge companies, you keep that old.
I think the Leisure Service Department could figure that out.
Yeah.
Those guys are pretty good.
Oldsmar Sports Complex.
Yeah.
Got a nice
Explain to them the tragedy of the canal.
That's fine. We can take that back to them and see if they would like that. I like the sports complex thing. I think, as I was mentioned with Francisco, we've really done a lot with a lot of things, including the BMX track and even the dialogue, no matter what happens with the Rays. We've done a lot to raise the profile of the city of Oldsmar, of more than just, JRs and the flea market. So
I was suggesting y'all aren't going to go along with it, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. I'd like to have the original,
I knew he was going to say like a log sign.
the original sign. That was,
your house?
That rotted about 10 years ago.
no, it didn't. They tore it down when they widened Tampa Road. That was a great sign. It was a beautiful sign.
We've got pictures of it.
I
think.
donated the whole
Did the landscaping, didn't you?
Yeah, 10,000 worth of landscaping, I donated. Besides that, my name's on that sign.
Oh.
Still did rot away about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, we had it for 20 years. We got our money's worth out of it, especially since you donated it.
Well, and I think by changing it to Oldsmar Sports Complex without going into great detail avoids the sign getting vandalized. Let's just put it that way. I believe we all know what I'm talking about.
Motion to table this, or you just doing this?
No, I think we just, by consensus, if we could take it back to them and see what they say. Is that what you're looking for?
Thanks.
Sure, that's fine.
Anything else?
She's sitting down.
Oh, okay.
She sits down and goes, "What did I do?"
If I could show you the bruises that I've gotten over you coming to the city of Oldsmar, they're all good, but they're like, God, dog it, because she came from the city of Clearwater, and they still continue to say that it was the best deal that we've ever done. So they were sorry to lose you, but I've taken a beating over it when I go to anything with the city. I'm sure Bruce has too. So
I actually talked to the city,
Thank
I
you.
talked to the city manager of Oldsmar not too many days ago, and I thanked him.
yeah.
I'm at the city manager. Clearwater? I talked to the city manager of Clearwater and thanked him.
Yeah.
He had great things to say
Oh,
about
they
it.
all do. Yeah. So we're lucky to have you. So, city clerk, do you have anything? Miss Award-winning city clerk or whatever.
Well, thank you for the service award.
Thank you. You're welcome. City council review of charter officials evaluation forms. I think that was something that I guess maybe I brought up in general when we talked about how applicable the review forms were to the day-to-day tasks or year-to-year tasks that coincide with currently the city manager and the city clerk. And at that time, it was brought up, and I think our city attorney, who's also a charter official, somewhat agreed and has been reviewed in other municipalities. So they looked at the review process for all three charter officials so that for those that don't know, we as council members review the three charter officials, and so that I think the intent was that the charter, that the review process be more in line with the council priorities and the day-to-day activities. There were some things that were on there that I don't think any of us had any idea, how their interaction is with employees and some of the other things that really we wouldn't have any way of knowing. The more important things were the things
Mayor,
that...
we aren't going to know it anyway.
Huh?
We aren't going to know it anyway.
No, I know, but basically to really make the review process more of what our interactions with them and things like that, so.
I like the old ones, but other than discussing this for the next 5 hours, I'll agree to whatever anybody wants, just to get it over with.
Put a logo that matches the old sign that we had out at Canal
Joe, he
Park
likes
on this.
it comes on at 9 o'clock or something.
What is on tonight that you're trying to get home to or something like that?
I just don't want to.
I didn't know you were a big fan of The Voice or anything like that.
Who?
I think they all look good, and I am actually really looking forward to actually being able to do an evaluation review of a lawyer now.
I tell you, and
He's going to have a heart attack. He's going to have a headache after this.
I brought this up to Ann, and I'll throw it out there from the For What It's Worth department, but we just went through a very similar process for the CEO of the PSTA, who all the board members review. And they went through a similar thing that we did, which is, let us review him on the things that we have direct knowledge of. The one thing that I found helpful, and I mentioned this to Ann, and see what you guys think, was what the CEO did was under each of the particular topics, they would write how they felt they had accomplished those particular items. I know Ann did it kind of globally overall, but I got to tell you, it really helped me when I would read the question and I could say, because I don't remember everything that the CEO did or these guys did over the past year, but it really helped to be able to see in their perspective how they felt that they had accomplished it and whether we agree with that or not.
Well, most of the questions are about is about me and the city manager, me and the city attorney, me and her. I don't know what the other council members do, and I'll never find out unless I violate the sunshine law. So I don't care what they do. They're going to evaluate the way they see. And I thought the old way was fine. But would somebody please make a motion to either accept it or not? We don't talk about it.
Driving me crazy tonight.
Impatient tonight.
We don't talk about
Driving me crazy tonight. Normally it's you dragging this thing out.
I love it.
Man alive, I can't win for losing.
Well, the only thing I'd like to say,
sorry.
Mayor, real fast is, I talked to Bruce about this today, is as what Eric said, I'm looking forward to working with Tom, because I would like to get to know him better and, understand the goals and that kind of thing.
Just
So
take
that-
him to lunch.
Yeah, I could, if I have time.
Well, and I think it's great, and I think I brought this up at the last one, is I think it gives a paper trail to all three charter officials, so, I think it's much
You
needed.
say a word that I really hate, paper trail. So the only thing I would love to vote on is actually making it electronic.
That's fine.
Because
I'm paper trail,
I hate filling out.
I did mine electronically for the PSTA, and that was great.
I am going to evaluate all three of them on a piece of paper.
Well, he'll need a paper
I
trail.
am not going to do it on electronic.
Motion to accept the form? Moved. Second. Motion to a second. Would you like to second, Mr. Beeville?
Second.
Okay, good. All those in favor? Aye.
I'm the one that started this back in 1990.
Yep.
You're the one to blame.
Well, yeah, but
Well, you
it
probably wanna
wasn't as
finish the meeting.
complicated as this one.
Can we move on now? Go, yeah.
One thing, that's fine, so we'll start, these are the forms that will be used starting next year.
Which you won't.
No, it's this year, 2017.
Which you won't even.
I'm trying to remain interested.
Next year, that's great.
I'm not planning for another
He's retiring
evaluation.
very soon for
But
those that are playing the home
But
version.
because I am still paying attention, I think that you will need to adopt a new resolution because, this
Right.
process that covers the evaluation process for the city clerk and the city manager is adopted by resolution. And
Now you
to
have the
include the
city
city attorney, I think you
attorney.
need to adopt a new resolution. So I'm going to assume that you would like the city attorney to prepare a new resolution to cover that.
Could he?
Good assumption.
Can we amend the motion to accept the forms and provide a resolution?
Absolutely.
Could he bring that back
Second that.
right around September?
Motion to modify the motion. You made the second. Do you accept
did.
it? You did or he did?
I just-
Okay. Well, he made the original second.
It doesn't matter?
No, but if we're modifying it, he has to make the second, so, okay, all those in favor? Aye. Man, I can't win for losing.
I still think the classic was when I sat down with Bruce to do his valuation. I said, I had a whole bunch of things I was going to say to you and suggest, but you're probably not going to change a whole lot now, are you? He goes, no, I'm not. I love it.
Next item, schedule the work session on the city manager succession plan. We have a couple of dates. Has anybody reviewed their?
Yeah.
Monday, May 22nd in the afternoon, or Tuesday, May 23rd in the morning.
I always like Tuesdays just because
Both are good for me.
For me too.
Tuesdays are always good because they're.
Tuesdays works for me. Could we make it the afternoon, though?
We've never had it in morning or afternoon. You want to get out of there quick.
You might, I don't know if you want to do it.
Do it in the morning so we can have breakfast.
Or the chief might, he's
Morning's fine with me.
conversations with Mr. Davis, so.
Dane O'Neill, I'm the project manager for the succession plan with the city manager. I've spoke to Art Davis with Springstead Waters, and he's traveling from California on Sunday. So he's requesting if we do meet on Monday, it'd be Monday afternoon or Tuesday morning, but he's going to be in town both those days. So really, his only concern was it being Monday morning after a flight from California.
Okay. Tuesday morning is fine with me.
Okay, the council planning session is for what?
The replacement of city manager.
Doesn't matter to
City
me.
manager's retiring.
Morning, that doesn't
Could you
matter.
check your schedule, Mr. Beaverland, and let us know? Or we can just call you in the morning and let you know that it's happening.
You guys don't want to do it Monday afternoon?
I'm not, wait a
I'm fine
minute.
with
Whoa.
Tuesday.
I'm not the one you have to worry about what day it is. I just choose any day you all want, and I'm there.
I just hate stuffing stuff on Mondays because sometimes those are firefighting days for me.
Me too.
From a weekend with work, stuff that happens. Tuesday morning would be much better for me.
Okay.
Now what's in the memo is Tuesday, May 23rd, 8:30 to 12:30.
Yep,
That's fine.
that's fine.
What time was it? I'm sorry.
8:30 to 12:30.
And that's out in the swamp.
No,
Here. You're thinking about the planning conference.
Look at the
Well,
next
that's
one.
the next part of the agenda.
we're on,
tonight. We're on the first.
we're still on item
You meet right
16.
I mean, right here.
Session on city manager succession plan.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm hearing that.
Yep,
the
23rd.
preferred date is Tuesday, May 23rd,
Yep.
8:30 to 12:30.
Yep.
It'll be in the work session room here.
Yep.
Okay, the next one's in the swamp.
Yes. Swamp.
Well, maybe.
We'll see.
Next item is the schedule the council planning conference, which is our annual conference. Set council priorities with the council and department heads. And the dates for that are Wednesday, June 21st, or alternative date, Friday, June 16th. I have a conflict with Wednesday, June 21st. I have a TDC meeting, which is probably one of the more important meetings that I have.
Fridays for a whole day works better for me.
Huh?
Friday works best for. if we're
Friday
gonna
works
have a whole
best
day.
for me.
Yeah.
I can do either day.
What'd you say?
I'm good with Friday.
Friday's fine with me. Jerry? Yep, good, all right. So Friday's good with Jerry?
Friday all day, and that's out at Brooker Creek.
Yep, that's out of,
It's not going to be at Brooker Creek.
Oh, 'cause of
the
conflict.
location will be determined.
Okay.
okay.
So
We're hitting it.
We'll announce or let you know where it's
That's
going
at
to be.
9.
Not going to the swamp.
We're not.
30.
Well, 'cause as Bruce found out, kids are out of school and that Brooker Creek is being used by summer camps and groups and all that.
Okay.
So we went with Friday, June 16th, 8:30 to 4. Does that work for you?
I hope so.
Okay. Next is comments by council members. You want to just forego your comments so we can move this along?
No, let me go first. You hardly let me talk.
Go ahead.
Okay. Every department in this town is showcased somehow. Every department in this town is showcased somehow. The planning department was just showcased twice tonight. The financial department is showcased tonight. And the other departments, like the
Leisure services.
the engineer, you know, if.
Public Works?
Public Works or whatever, you know, if your commode doesn't work, they're showcased real quick. The leisure services are showcased out here. The city clerk's office is never showcased. And that is a department that really puts out tons. Where'd she go? She's already gone. Debbie. Tons of information. I mean, from 4 or 5 different people. Even Chris, when she calls you or calls me and tells me where we need to be. Somehow, I think the council, I think the city manager and the city clerk should get together, and the city attorney if he wants. But these two should get together, and we should have something in the council to really showcase that department, because that department educates so many people in so many ways, and they're never showcased. And I think this council should do that in some way. And I think that should be maybe the city manager, and I've always talked to both of them, and they get together and really show what they really do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, as I indicated tonight, and hopefully I spoke up, on behalf of the council, I think they're an important part to us, I know.
Yes.
As a city council, for sure, but also integrated with the rest of the city.
In a tremendous informational way, individually with us.
Sure. Well, and even as Joe mentioned tonight from Empower, the collaborative effort between the city and Empower Adventures to help
I mean,
promote.
people don't really understand because they can't really see it, or they don't know it all comes together from her office.
Yeah.
And I think it should.
I like the idea. I think we could kick that around a little bit and see. I mean, I know every chance we get to give people accolades for things that have happened, we try and do that, but yeah,
And I like to, again, thank Tom for his prayers and the Boy Scouts. Because of his prayers, you didn't see the first fight tonight. Even though the guy in the center said you'd probably see.
I didn't promise, though.
Meeting's still on.
But
Okay,
Tom,
we're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
thank you for your prayers. They're always separate. They're always meaningful, and they say a lot. And I appreciate that. I really do. Okay? And there was no fights. How's the jelly sales going?
Fine.
Going good or fine?
Fine.
I think the council should get together somehow and help promote. She has jelly sales. Is your nephew?
My son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law needs a
kidney transplant.
kidney transplant. And they're expensive. They're selling jelly. And nobody in here does not dislike jelly. For $5. $5, council. Buy a jar, buy 2 jars, and then give her one back. Or buy 2 jars and sell one and give her the money. So they're only $5. Let me tell you how important it is to me. You all remember the Shivo episode with the girl?
Yep.
My beautiful granddaughter, that touched her so much. My beautiful granddaughter was more of a daughter because she lived with us. And she wanted to be a donor. And my beautiful granddaughter was killed when she was 16 years old. I don't know how many people she saved because they harvested everything from her. There were some people that tried to get in contact with my daughter, and I told them, don't. Don't. Let it go. So that's what's important. He needs a kidney. That's important. Help her. Buy a jar of jelly, please. Buy 2 jars and give her one back. Okay, I have one other thing. Mayor, if you'll just bear with me a minute. I've been thinking about this a long time. I want to read something. It's boring, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. This is a photograph of a piece of 8. You ever hear a piece of 8? Down below it is a piece of 8. Spanish coin, 1702 or whatever. And both my son and myself are going to sign affidavits that what I'm about to read to you is true. This is a Spanish colonial silver 8 real 1702 coin. It measures about 1 1/8 inch wide. I do know its history for the past 51 years. We moved to the city of Oldsmar on our shore of Old Tampa Bay in 1966. A couple of days after a violent hurricane named Gladys that left 3 boats in my backyard, brand new paddle wheels. Took me all day the next day on Saturday to find out where they came from. They came from Gandy Boulevard. I told the guy, if you want these paddle boats, you better come and get them. I'm going to sell them. A couple of days after the violent hurricane Gladys in 1968, our middle son, Jerry, who was very young, was out fishing on Old Tampa Bay Beach in front of our house, and he found this coin. It's never been cleaned. We've never shown it to anybody. I know the value. But in 2017, the Beaverland family, where we live, is going to loan this coin to the Oldsmar Historical Society for a specified length of time to be determined, and that'll probably be forever.
It's awesome.
Neat.
Y'all heard of the Dade Massacre? I think you've seen this, the Dade Massacre of 1835. When a company of 110 troops, including soldiers from the 2nd Artillery, 3rd Artillery, 4th Infantry Regiment, and Major Francis Longhorn Dade City, departed from Fort Brooks, which is now Tampa, heading up to the Kings Highway, that was a military road, on a resupply reinforcement mission to Fort King, which is present-day Ocala. You know what happened? The Seminole Indians, waylaid them and killed them all. I think one escaped in 1835. A friend of mine, who's now long gone, he was a multimillionaire, he restored an incredible mansion in Madison, Florida, and then turned around and gave it to the University of Florida. He was on the Historical Society of the University of Florida. And back in the 50s, they went on a dig at the Dade Massacre. And on that dig, the only thing they really found was some eagle buttons from the soldiers. Bill found 2 of them. Of course, he was one of the leaders from the, because he was a big donor to the University of Florida. He gave me one, and he kept one. The Beaverland family is going to give this to the historical. We've owned this since I've owned this since 1976. The museum in Tampa would love to have it, but they're not going to get it. Thank you, Mayor. That's it.
Thank you. Can you pass that coin down and then tell me how much it's worth?
I'll
No, I'm
pass-
just kidding.
I can pass them down if you
Okay.
want.
I'd like to see them. Would you
Yeah,
mind passing
well, you
them?
go after the meeting.
Okay, sure, okay.
After the meeting, we'll go down there.
You have to look real close to see the eagle. It's a beautiful federal eagle on the soldier's boat.
And for those that are watching at home and here in our grand audience, Mr. Beaverland was recently 2 times on Pawn Stars with
Yeah.
his Abe Lincoln stuff out there. You won't leave the city for anything, but you'll fly to Vegas for Abe Lincoln, so.
Yep.
But, yeah, that was just recently, so at any rate. Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Councilmember McGee?
I had a couple things. One, just a reminder, I'll be absent from the next meeting because I will be in Savannah at a Tech Data Conference that week. Reminder to anyone that's unaware, this Saturday at 10 a.m. is the walk for the mitochondrial disease at Ariolds Park. So the Perez family that live on Jefferson around the corner, was their daughter that passed away at 6 years old from mitochondrial disease. So they have a team there, and there will be a bunch of people out walking at Ariolds Park. There's a 1 mile and a 5 mile walk, so I'd encourage anyone that doesn't have any plans Saturday morning to go out there. And also, even more personally, she was the niece of my manager for Cisco. So I'll be out there on Saturday. I would love some support as well. Question on the disc golf course. So do we have potentially an opening day or?
I think we want to make sure that it's,
This summer.
yeah.
I just want to make sure, like,
It was kind of a tease. We want to, and I know you've talked about it, we want to make sure that when we do it right, because you only get, as you indicated, Felicia indicated, you get one chance at a great score from the people that come out and score the facility. So
Okay.
we want to make
Okay.
sure that it's, as we do with everything, up to snuff. So.
and just so you guys are aware, and I got reminded today because he emailed back, but Chris Brown, who's one of the owners of Vertical Ventures in St. Pete and Tampa, the indoor rock climbing gym, they emailed back today for Marie. We've been waiting a bit, but he had reached out to me a while back to see if we had a facility to accommodate them. They're looking to expand 2 more locations. And then he emailed back today his requirements. So just a heads up, that would
Okay,
be,
cool.
I think, an awesome addition to our sports tourism if we had an indoor rock climbing gym. And usually they're in a warehouse type facility, so that would even give some more appeal, I think, to our industrial area. And then a question about the trees on Park Boulevard, and this one's for Janice Miller, because I was walking my dog and I noticed the 2 new beautiful houses at St. Pete Drive and Park Boulevard. However, I've noticed the oak trees being torn down. It looks like the city right-of-way, at least one was torn down, but then it looks like some that are on the property are getting torn down as well. Didn't know if anyone here had any insight into them being torn down and if we're requiring any replacement trees. Because Park Boulevard does get really hot, and on that corner, if they tear down all those oak trees, there's not one tree on those 2 lots in the front, so didn't know if you guys were thinking about
They have
that.
to meet the landscaping requirements. I don't know what they are for a new home.
Okay. All right, well, I just want to bring that up because
And I know I had inquired about, I had somebody, a client, real estate client looking at 503, but they also, which is the second house in, that also asked about 505, and, you know, there would be some, correct me if I'm wrong, but there would be some mitigation requirements if they had to take down that tree, because it just happens to be, it's right smack dab in the middle of the lot, which,
Yeah.
you know, would affect their ability to build, but they would, not only the landscape, but they would have to, wouldn't they have to mitigate if they did anything with that tree?
Marie, you want
Well, the one house,
a bit more? I mean,
the one house across the street on the south side, those oak trees were in the city right-of-way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one's right on 505 is right in the smack. in
Well,
the
if
middle.
it's in the footprint, they would, they have to have 4 trees on site, depending on the lot size. So
Right.
those are like 6,000 square feet. And they'd have to have at least 4 trees. But they could take down that big tree that was right in the middle of, footprint.
But
Yeah.
the city right-of-way, the old oak trees.
Okay, I wasn't sure which-
Janice would be up in arms about it if she
Well,
saw it.
if it was in the right of way, the, private property owner could not take it down.
No, I know, but I'm wondering why we took them down if they
They're
were in our.
gone, they're gone
We'll have
on
to
the west,
check.
on the
Okay,
south
I just wanted to
side.
bring it up because I was walking and then I saw 2 other trees had like orange things around them and I'm like, okay, are all 3 of those trees getting taken down? They're all older oak trees right
Remember,
there.
I remember we had this
The tree
discussion. survey
survey that showed, and the arborist determined they were diseased,
I mean,
but I'm not sure if
They
those.
look okay, they could be rotted.
Yeah, that
But
was
the
a-
one that I saw chopped, there was a couple parts of rot, but most of it looked like a full tree. So
Yeah.
I I wanted to at least see if we were planning on replacing anything there. And then, oh, lastly, I just had a quick funny story for you guys. So I convinced my family to go kayaking this weekend for Easter up at Weeki Wachee, which, by the way, if you haven't been there, is absolutely beautiful. It was 5 miles down the river. Every corner, I was like, I can't believe how clear and beautiful this river is. There were a bunch of manatees out there, turtles, everything, you name it. But my parents and I have never been kayaking together before. We don't do a lot of outdoor adventures together. And my mother was in the kayak with myself, and my dad and my niece were in a kayak. And at one point, my 14-year-old niece started complaining that my father didn't know how to steer this kayak, and they were hitting bushes and trees. And so in order to save the day, I said, why don't we switch and have Kayla go in my kayak? And I said, Mom, you should go in the kayak with Dad so that Kayla will stop complaining. And my mom says, I don't want to go with your father. And I said, Mom, come on, it just, well.
Take one for the team.
We pull over in a little beachy area. My mom reluctantly gets in the kayak with my father, and they continue on. We're behind them, and within 5 minutes, they flip the kayak. And thankfully, we caught it on the GoPro camera that we had, and we're pulling up, and my mom's walking, towards a beach area. My dad's trying to swim, and the kayak's floating away. And my niece goes, "What happened?" And my mom goes, "Your father. That's what happened." And let's just say they still had 3 miles to go after that. And I think it was painful for them together. And I don't know if she's ever going kayaking with my dad.
Well, I bet
again.
that was a long ride
But
home.
I could not stop laughing. I just thought, of course that happens.
Perfect.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say one thing. Last week when we were at the Oldsmar Cup, last year at the Centennial, I picked the horse winner with the help of Ann. But this year, I picked it 2 years in a row. Oldsmar Cup winner.
Now, wait, did you get the winner by default, though, the second place, or did you choose the actual real winner before you got
I
disqualified?
actually picked the real winner, or horse number 8 that won the race because the horse number 5 was pushing him out of the way.
All right.
So I just want to make sure, you guys always want to compete with stuff, come on, you got to get up to the plate here.
Tell us next time, I'll take you to the track.
But yeah, and Doug, thanks for giving me your book because you helped me pick the winner.
Oh, okay. Do I get any money?
Yeah, and I just want to say, Ann, congratulations on your 10-year award. You, Kathy, and your team are fantastic. As a council member, vice mayor, thank you for all your hard work and everything you do. I really do appreciate every time I come into your office. You are ready to help. You have questions ready to answer, and just thank you and congratulations. Well deserved. And I wanted to mention one other thing. Thank you very much for everybody voting for the golf carts for East Lake Oaks. And then also the little story of the ethics training. I don't know if I told Bruce today. We were starving at ethics training. It was 4 hours. And Gabby and Eric were texting me they're going to get pizza. And I was like, you guys are going to get pizza? What are you talking about, pizza?
I thought she was ordering for herself. She ordered for the
that's what
entire
I
room.
thought.
We're like, let's get it for.
Because I was on the other side of the room, and then all of a sudden, Gabby texts me, we're ordering 6 pizzas and 5 salads, and I'm like, what is going on here? And we fed the whole ethics training, and there was probably 60 people there, and we all chipped in, and that was a really nice thing, and it made the city of Oldsmar really shine.
Yeah, they
To
were
all-
starved, just
Yeah,
like us.
everyone. John Maroney and Dave Eckerts were sitting next to me, and they were complaining the whole time how they were starving.
Yeah.
So it really put our city in a situation where other mayors around Pinellas County and council members really did appreciate it, and that was a great gesture that we did. That was fantastic.
They did.
Yeah, well, I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, well, I donated too.
Yeah,
but-
chip in.
And then the last thing I want to say is, I don't know if you saw it on the email today, SB 1770, which is the CRA bill, it failed in the meeting today, so now it's on hold. So that's a positive for home rule.
Yep.
And I wanted to bring that up. And last thing, Doug, I wanted to say that you look really good in a tie.
I know, you do look good today.
I have a tie on and my name tag.
And I think you should
haircut.
keep doing it because it is a good representation of our city.
Not a
Thank you,
big
Mayor.
tie.
Doesn't really appreciate that coming out.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks. Councilmember Seidel.
Councilman Bieber, and I think you look good without a tie. I like the way you look. I like the way you roll. I do have a couple things, Mr. Mayor. Number one, only because I had said I'd mention, I don't know if they got their final permit yet. I don't know where they stand. I know they're hoping to. But the Old City Fish, Tila's
Oh, yeah.
Tacos and Tequila are going to be planning on opening up on Monday.
Good.
They'll be back in business, so that's kind of exciting.
I've heard the inside is just phenomenal looking.
I stuck my head in there a while ago, and I was like, how are you guys ever going to have this ready? But I think they did the whole modular thing, and anyhow, so just kind of point of information. I'm really excited, and I didn't realize this, and certainly I brought it up multiple times about modernizing and more technology in the planning department. I am so excited to hear what Catherine's been working on.
Oh, you're not kidding.
I didn't realize that.
I was reading that going, oh.
That's just terrific. So, props to Marie and the leadership in there, and for her, and congratulations on her award. I wanted to bring this up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, I listened to the last meeting after it was here, and then listened to it again online. And I think that our efforts, the mayor's efforts especially, and city managers and everyone who's worked on promoting us going after the raise, has done a lot of good things for this city. I think it has raised the profile of our city. I think whether you're a fan of it or not, it has certainly raised the profile in a very positive way. I think it's also opened other people's eyes outside of Oldsmar to how big Oldsmar thinks. And I think in many ways, some folks who may not have been able to tell you where Oldsmar was have kind of related to that on the county line situation, position rather. I also think, and my experience has been, by far, there have been more people in favor of it than I've heard say that's not something they want. That's not to say there's not those who haven't been supportive, but I think there's been an added sense of pride with it, even with some people when you talk to them. They're kind of like, hey, that's my town. That's how we roll. But I have to say this. They were supposed to have made a decision. They pushed it off.
They being the raise.
The raise. Now it's going to be in less than 9 months, 8.5 months from now, is what they've said. They haven't come back and asked us for any public financing plans. They haven't asked us for any land use agreement with the property owner, even a contingency one, or, they haven't asked us for any traffic studies. I hate to be the one to say this, but I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by it. We're not getting a raise. If we were, there are consultants that they have hired, which I'm sure are many, for a probably $500 million stadium, would be square on us looking for additional information. And I think it's been great for the city. I applaud our efforts, but I also think it might be becoming a distraction a little bit. A distraction we don't need at a time when we're going to focus on hiring another city manager, where we should be maybe focusing more efforts on downtown, moving that project along. And I'm in favor, and by virtue of us hanging out there, I think we position ourselves, whether intended or unintended, as somewhat leverage, if you would call it leverage, working against our friends in the city of St. Pete, which has never been our intention. And I'm in favor of us having a discussion about suspending our efforts to try to bring the raise here to the city of Oldsmar and moving on.
And I agree with a lot of what you said. I don't know that the Rays have reached out to anybody to some of the things that you've talked about. I think that's been part of the Rays' problem, is that they collectively have not aggressively moved on some of these. Hence,
But they haven't asked us for anything.
No, I know, but hence they've lost some of the opportunities at some of these other sites that were their top sites, that they let slip through. But to that point, when I met with Bruce today, and I didn't really know that you were going to bring this up, we talked about that and where we're at. And, we have raised the bar, if 100 is the thing and we're at 95, I don't know that expending any more effort, it's not like we're trying to get noticed. That we're well known, as you've indicated, we've raised the profile of us, we're here, the property's here, if they change their mind and want to come. And the conversation with Bruce, and he made a great analogy, is we have built a tremendous amount of momentum for the city of Oldsmar. And, Bruce said it today is, maybe we put the car in neutral and let it just continue on the path that it has. And if they've got questions, fine. And to your point, I mean, it's basically, hold off, let's not do anything and just, put the car in neutral and play it out.
I totally agree with Eric. We have got a lot of good publicity, and that's great.
Yeah.
It's brought the city up, but I have felt this way all along. But we have gotten a great amount of publicity, but they ain't gonna come here. And I think we should, I agree with you. Our efforts should be put right across the street.
Well, I'm glad we didn't spend any money on a survey.
Yeah.
Well, I would say never say never.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's completely dead
We're not
until.
going to spend any money on the survey, just so you know. Don't put online.
And to that point, I don't know that anybody knows where I don't even know if they're going to stay in the Tampa Bay area, to be honest with you, so.
Well, and to that point, Mayor, I mean, quite candidly, I think it would be worth a conversation, or at least maybe we all think about it. I think it would be worth endorsing St. Pete.
That was exactly my next thought is.
Let's keep it in Pinellas if we can.
Right.
That city down there, they've spent a lot of money, invested a lot of time.
I'll probably reach out to Mayor Kreisman and talk to him. That was one of the thoughts, and I've said this from the very beginning, is that, and I've mentioned it here many times, is, I support St. Pete in their efforts to do it. I supported Oldsmar as a backup plan, and I went and met with all the county commissioners. This was not to try and undermine St. Petersburg, but I wanted to have a plan B, for Pinellas County. Because first the plan is keep it in St. Pete, and Bruce and I have talked about this from the beginning. Keep it in St. Pete. Secondly, keep it in Pinellas County. Thirdly, keep it in the Tampa Bay area. So
Our efforts should be on Oldsmar's sports complex.
Well, yeah, I don't think we endorse any city, though, because you endorse St. Pete, and let's say they go to Hillsborough County. I think you put yourself in a little bit of a position there with Hillsborough. At the end of the day, I would like, the raise to go what's best suited for the entire Tampa Bay area. I mean, obviously, Pinellas County, there's some financial benefit. There was also some financial costs there, too, within the county. So I don't think we put our name out there in a hat, and I certainly don't think we just walk away because they haven't asked us for those things. I think we wait until we get to a point of they are asking for those things, whether it's from other cities, and we're not getting asked by them. But to Doug's point, it's not any extra additional effort. We've already pitched a potential place, a plan, and if they come back and have questions or ask for those things, then obviously we'd probably have to have the conversation of what efforts do we go through to provide them. But I mean, I think at this point, we, like Doug said, we put the car neutral and let it. I don't think it hurts us to continue to push it because, like you said, something is going to go in that spot. And continuing to give that visibility to our city and also for future development of the city, I don't think it hurts anything at this point.
And if I could.
Those in that spot is controlled by Stella Thayer and nobody else.
Well, I mean, that's her property, we know that. And to your point, and about putting the car in neutral, and I think Ann can correct me if I'm wrong, but the website, the domain is there. What is it? Oldsmar Stadium.com. It's got some of the frequently asked questions that we can direct people to. It's got the presentation, I believe, doesn't it? The presentation that Francisco and I made, the press conference. The press conference. And information is there. So, if we do get asked, we can direct them to there. There's the questions. And, I don't know what we do, there's not a whole lot more we can do. They know about us. We've gotten tremendous TV coverage, tremendous newspaper coverage, tremendous radio coverage, tremendous social media coverage.
I don't disagree at all, but I do disagree that we should just leave it out there.
Let's move on. Just move on.
Well, but it's not our decision. Ultimately, it's theirs.
I understand that. I just think that it's a distraction. I mean, honestly, if you looked at the last meeting and there's, some little, discussions here and there, it's like,
yeah, well, I don't think
why are we wasting our time? And in some way, there's no good that comes of some of our citizens being concerned about something that's not going to happen.
Well,
And I disagree. I totally disagree with you on this one, Gabby, in terms of lending our support to somebody else who already has it, who spent millions and millions of dollars. I think I don't think that's a bad thing. I could care less about Hillsborough County. That's just how I feel about it. I mean, I hope it stays if it leaves Pinellas, but, I'm sorry, maybe it's just old school to Pinellas, but.
I just think it would be early to throw an endorsement in for the city of St. Petersburg when, as we said, they've pushed it back to the end of the year and,
It's not early. If anyone believes, if anyone really believes that a deal of this size, that someone's going to announce a decision and they're not pouring through numbers and working with people, that's not happening, I am telling you, there's no way that's not happening. That's happening.
It's happening far beyond our
But I guess my
comprehension.
point is, if it's going to happen in the city of St. Pete, which it very well may likely cost-wise, all of those things, it's going to happen whether we endorse them or not.
No question.
So I just don't know if we necessarily need to put our name out there and endorse, another city, when at the end of the day, it benefits all of Tampa Bay, whether it's in Hillsborough or Pinellas County. And when we were talking about funding it, we were talking about joint funding for both counties. So we can't just selfishly say we're supporting Pinellas County because we're in Pinellas County, because we would be looking for funding from both counties.
If you want to
So
endorse something, let's put it on the agenda and get it,
I think
and get it over with, other than just.
Do you want this to be an agenda item, Mr. Mayor?
I'm fine with just letting it, let's just see what happens. I mean, they're not going to do anything during baseball season, well, publicly, let's put it that way, but.
But anyhow, that was my thoughts on it. I mean, if we end up spending a lot of time on it, I'm going to request it go on the agenda. So
Yeah, I'm fine with.
Just telling you that's how I feel.
And I'm
I
fine.
respect your opinions. I'm just thinking it's a distraction. We got bigger fish to
Well,
fry.
and I think that's the whole point about putting the car in neutral and just not
more
discussing.
importantly,
We got this across the street, and we got Oldsmar.
Oh, sure, we got plenty of things to do.
Oldsmar,
But I think this has also
Wait,
gone a long
wait,
way in raising the profile for that.
Wait, more importantly,
sports park.
I got to announce that I'm going to be a grandfather finally. And so that's how I want to end my report.
Yeah, congratulations.
You're old enough.
Wow. What am I then? Jeez. Congratulations to Ann and Catherine and Francisco for their awards tonight. And again, to the planning department, that was great to read that, because as I was reading it, I'm thinking that's exactly one of the things that we as a council in the workshops that we had were talking about was, making it a much more user-friendly, I guess, for lack of a better term, customer service friendly with the experiences that the contractors have. And so we can concentrate on some of the other stuff as opposed to taking emails and putting stuff in spreadsheets and, a lot of legwork. So also excited, I invited Jerry today. The Mayor's Council, May 3rd is our next meeting, and it's the 40th anniversary of the Mayor's Council in Pinellas County. And so I've reached out to Jim Roniker's going to go, Jerry's going to go, and we're going to reach out to Jerry Provenzano and Jeff Sadler to bring those. I think that would be great. Dottie Lee is still with a former mayor. We're going to reach out to her and see if, at least let her know that we would like her to attend. So it's kind of neat, to have 5 mayors. Can I limit you on the amount of time you can talk at that thing, or no? I probably.
I won't say a word.
Oh. Can I get a resolution by the next meeting that he will not say a word, or an ordinance, or whatever it is that we can enforce by the powers invested in us? So once again, congratulations to everybody in their awards tonight. As to the raise thing, I think enough has been said. I think we just kind of just see what happens. We're here. If you want to talk to us, come talk to us. But otherwise, we've got other more important things to do. City manager, the Canal Park plan, the plan here. Ultimately, something probably is going to happen at the flea market down the road. That's probably more realistic than what may happen at the stadium.
Guarantee you the flea market.
Yeah, I mean, something will definitely happen on that site that Tampa Bay Downs owns. And I think one of the things that I expressed to people when I talked to them was, as we do with everything, we would like to have some input as to, what potentially could have gone in there. And so at any rate, I'm fine with putting the car in neutral and letting it just kind of seek its own course. And I have no more plans of talking about it at council meetings.
I guarantee you'll have a big input on what goes on that 128.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. So at any rate, but I don't have anything else. Tom, you got anything? Bruce?
No.
No? Anything? Congratulations on being a grandfather. I got to tell you, I spent it with my youngest grandkid at Easter, and it's neat. It's really neat to just watch them grow up and form into people. Can't wait for them to walk and talk till you can tell them to sit down and shut up.
Take them back to
Oh, that's the best. That is the best part, is buying them all kinds.
Step is being a great grandfather that I will never evidently be.
Well, I got 3 great grandkids, or not great grandkids, but 3 terrific grandkids, I should say. Man, I didn't want to, I just self-aged myself, didn't I? So at any rate, if there's nothing else, thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it.
Survived the whole
Troop
time.
407, you survived the whole thing.
2.5 hours.
Boom, we're out of here.